doing a video on 2 different foundations. So I'm going to be trying out one of the more expensive high-end foundations and telling you my views on that. I have used it a few times before, and then I'm also going to be trying out one of the more affordable foundations and see if it's worth getting the more expensive one. So I have just put on the Huda Beauty Water Jelly Primer, which is one of my primers I use daily just because it is a very nice skincare and makeup in between, and it definitely gives you like a really smooth base. So obviously that's more high end, but I'm just going to put it all over so you can see how the foundations both sit on a more high end kind of primer. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the foundations. So I have 2 different ones. So there's been like a new hype with the XX Revolution makeup brand. So obviously we have Makeup Revolution, they brought out the new XX one, which is meant to be their more kind of premium makeup brand, I guess. I have a few products from their collection. I do quite like it, but this foundation, I don't really like how it finishes. So the premium foundation I'm going to be comparing it to is the Huda Beauty, is it called Faux Filter foundation, the original one she first brought out. And there's obviously positives and negatives to both of the foundations. This one is a really nice finish and it does feel like premium packaging, but then I also would say this one is really nice packaging as well because it is glass. I think this one's actually plastic, so this one is pretty good. I think this foundation is around £15 to £17, and I think this one is, I think it's £32 to £34. I think it's £34, yeah. So there's quite a big range in the prices. They are kind of different finishes as well. So this one will give me more of a glowy finish, and this one is more of a matte. It's meant to be kind of like your skin but better kind of foundation. So I would say with both of these foundations, I don't think I got an amazing colour match for either of them. This one's definitely a little bit too light for me, and this one would it's not really the right undertone for me, I would say. I think it's a little bit, it's more of a neutral tone, and I am more of like a warmer tone, but I do wear neutrals sometimes, so I definitely can make it work for me. So they're both kind of similar. They both have the shade names on the bottom, which is quite good, so you can see what it is by simply turning it around. So the Huda Beauty one I have is Macaroon, which is 230N, so neutral, and the XX Revolution one I have is FX 6.5, and I think that was more of a warmer toned, but it definitely is too light for me. So we're going to start applying them on now. I'm going to apply them in the same way just so it's more fair. I think I'm going to go on with a brush, and then I'm going to blend out with a beauty blender. So the brush I'm going to use for both of them is this Real Techniques brush. I feel like it's quite an old one. I got it from TK Maxx, so it was like reduced, which is quite nice. And it's 301 is the number of it. But I really do like applying foundation with this brush. I'm going to start off with the Huda Beauty side on this side here. I'm actually going to tell you how much is in the bottles. So this one has 35 millilitres in it, and this one is 27 millilitres, so this one's a little bit more. I feel like it is definitely a wider bottle as well, which is probably how, because they're quite similar heights really. So this one goes a really long way because it is quite full coverage. So I'm just going to put, I think, maybe like 2 pumps onto my hand, and then I'm just going to blend that out here and just down to my neck, so it kind of works. So yeah, the shade is quite a good shade for me, but the undertone, I don't know, because I kind of feel like it makes me look a little bit pasty. So one thing that I know a lot of people have said about this foundation and why they don't really like it is because of the scent, because it is really highly perfumed. Like, it has got a really strong perfume smell to it. I quite like it because I like my foundations to be nice smelling, especially when you're wearing a mask and you can breathe back and smell the makeup on your face. So yeah, it is a really nice blend, as you can see, and that primer definitely helps out with the smoothness of it. So I just like how it kind of evens out my skin tone a little bit better. And there we have it. So it sits really nicely on my skin, and it's meant to be quite like a long lasting foundation. I would say it is quite long lasting, but it isn't the most long lasting foundation that I have. Like I feel like there's definitely foundations that will last longer, like this will come off with a mask on. So I was going to blend this out with a beauty blender. I feel like it's been blended out well enough with the brush, so I'm not going to use the beauty blender on it. So the XX Revolution one, this one is more of a glowy one. They do actually have more of a matte one as well. It depends on your skin type as well. Mine's quite like normal to dry, so most foundations will work fine. I'm just going to put 2 pumps of this on my hand. So as you can see, this one is quite a little bit lighter than my other foundation. So I'm going to apply this onto my other side, and you can see it's a lot lighter. This one, I have tried it before, and I've only tried it like twice before, I think. This one has got a kind of like cucumbery smell to it, which I don't really know if I like. But this foundation, as you can kind of see in this on the side of my head, it kind of picks up whatever is underneath it. So I obviously had that primer and my skincare underneath it, and it kind of doesn't blend well with it. It kind of picks it up and makes a mess around like my face, and it kind of like balls up a little bit. I don't think it worked well with some primers. If you get like the matching XX Revolution primer, maybe one of those will work better with it. Okay, so these are the foundations on. So this is the Huda Beauty one. I'm going to move this so maybe you can see a little bit better. So this is the Huda Beauty one here. Obviously it's more of a better fit to my skin tone. It's meant to be more matte or kind of more long lasting, and I would definitely say it is. This one is the Revolution one, obviously a little bit pale, but that's obviously my fault for picking the wrong shade. It is very glowy, it does stick to what it says, but it comes off really easy. I literally just tapped it and it just came off. This one has definitely got a very high perfume scent, so if you don't like that, I wouldn't recommend it. And this one has a kind of like cucumbery smell to it. But this one is nearly double the price of this foundation. So I'm just going to go and finish the rest of my makeup routine and show you how the foundations look with all the rest of the makeup on. This is it with the rest of my makeup on. I just kind of rush through it so it isn't the best, but this is how the both of the foundations sit. So as I thought, up here a little bit is starting to peel off a little bit with the powder. I think because it is a glowy foundation that the powder doesn't really work well with it, so I used some setting powder. This side does definitely look a lot more flawless, but I feel like they're both given quite similar coverage, to be honest. I used the same amount of pumps, so they've kind of just given like a medium coverage. You can obviously use more pumps to get a more full coverage for them. I feel like this one did build up very well. This one probably wouldn't build up too good because it's kind of going a bit weird under my eye. So I wouldn't really know how to say if one's better than the other, but I would say they're probably worth what you're paying them for. This one won't last as long. It doesn't sit well with powders. It's not the best coverage. Also, it's really hard with the shade range because it's really written really weirdly, and like it's hard to find the right shade. This one is good. Obviously it is quite a little bit more pricey, so I wouldn't know if it was worth like that much, £33, but it is definitely a nice foundation. It is long lasting, not the most long lasting. It will come off with a mask. It does smudge if you're like hugging somebody, or if you wipe it or something, it will come off really quickly. With the packaging, I would say that this one actually has better packaging. It definitely does look more premium, whereas this one is like more plasticky, which I don't really like, and I feel like this one you could probably recycle easier. That is my opinion on the foundations. So yeah, thanks for watching.